red line through your microphone so you're muted out so you don't have background.
Very good. Okay, so the training for tonight is once again about the head game that we play. And I think when I give you some facts tonight, you're going to have some aha moments. And I really want to hear your feedback because I know that this can seem kind of deep, and my chair is stuck. This can seem kind of deep, but guys, we stop ourselves all day long. And so the other stuff, the Mary Kay stuff, that's why Mary Kay always says this business is not always easy, but it's simple. It's just simple. We complicate it. We talk about knowing your numbers a lot, and I'm going to keep looking at my notes because I want to stay on track and I want to keep us on time. We talk about knowing your numbers, and so I want to really just kind of dissect that for a minute, because your numbers, your checkbook and your date book controls your emotions. And you'll notice you get a sale, you're happy. We're just emotional creatures. But when we talk about knowing your numbers, this is how you do it. Okay, if you're brand new, you go back 3 to 4 months. So let's say you're brand new, like 1 month in. Let's say I know Brooke's on, and she's 1 month in, less than 1 month. She's going to track herself for the next 3 to 4 months. And she's probably already doing this because I know Brooke. Brooke's got a fast mind. She can probably tell you right now what she's averaging per face because she's done a lot of faces on her own. But for the next 3 to 4 months, I want you to average your facials, how much you're averaging per face, how much you're averaging at a party, and look at that numbers. Because believe it or not, I average higher per face when it's just me and one-on-one. And I think it's because I can show them a little bit more. I can do their glamour. I can spend more time. I can connect with them. Then, I sell a lot at the party, but overall, I get more money at a party. I see more faces. And so, I'm never going to say a facial is better than a party because it's not. Those are always going to be fillers. But going ahead and looking at your last 3 to 4 months, if you've been in for a while, look at your last 6 months. So that's going to take you literally pulling your sales ticket and crunching those numbers and taking it, dividing it by how many faces. And then you go back and you look at your last 6 months and you pull your reorders, okay? Know what your reorders is. What is that repeat business on a monthly basis? So then you know per face what you're averaging, and now you know what your current customer base is ordering in reorders per month. You put that together, that is how you create your guaranteed paycheck. Along with, you've got a team, you start building your team, and then you start controlling and working on that production going up, and then that goes up, and that's how you get your power back, okay? That's how you win that phase of the mental game. Now, your paycheck, getting your paycheck higher. I tell people you need to get, okay, so becoming a person who can be self-sustained in this business, it's really going to take you getting in an uncomfortable state, okay? Successful people spend a lifetime in an uncomfortable state. Now, it's not a bad place to be. It's called personal growth and professional growth. That's 5% of the people. And that's 5% of people who are successful. They are in an uncomfortable state, which means we don't have a choice but to make this work. We don't have a choice. I don't have a choice but to bring $5,000 home. I create that paycheck every single month. Marianne has a set amount. Trinity has a set amount. We set the amount and then we go after it. We don't work and then we know what we make. No, that's backwards. That is putting yourself where you're not in control. You don't have your power. But when you know your numbers, you know your reorders, you know what you have to do to make that paycheck, that's the uncomfortable state. And so now some people, I'm just going to tell you, some people have to go out. I used to know this woman, she had to go out and buy a new car in order to be able to work. Now that she wasn't in Mary Kay Long, she was actually a realtor. And she would actually go out and buy a new car so that she would have something to work for. I don't work like that. I don't like having that kind of stress. But to some degree, us putting our kids in private schools and not knowing if we were going to be able to afford it is almost that same state of being uncomfortable. All right. We committed to the Lord, we committed to the school, and we kept having kids. So, you've got to figure out, when you sit down with your spouse and you commit to something that's going to take that pressure off your spouse. Say, I'm going to pay for the house payment. I'm going to bring in the house payment every month. Watch your paycheck go up because you put yourself in an uncomfortable state and where you had to make it happen. And you work harder, you work with more focus, you work with more discipline. You create those good habits instead of falling victim to the bad habits. Okay, so get uncomfortable. So 95% of people live in a comfortable state. Okay, never taking risk, never stepping out of their comfort zone. What happens is when you risk nothing, you risk everything. You find yourself at the end of your life unfulfilled, feeling like you haven't really done anything. You haven't grown personally. You don't feel like that you've met people that challenge you, that grow you. You kind of stay in the same circle of people where the 95% of you are going nowhere. You live your life with regret. Okay, that's 95% of the people because they're not getting out of their comfort zone. They're not pushing the envelope. The 5% live in a state of being uncomfortable where they challenge themselves, they take risk, they go for it. Okay, now course correction. This next section is called course correction. So what if you're there? What if you think, oh my God, I'm part of the 95%. How can I get off this course? How do I get off this path? Well, give yourself a break. Not being on track is not always a bad thing. For example, the Apollo rocket, I'm going to have to keep moving my thing around because of my notes are so big. The Apollo rocket was actually off course most of the time going to the moon. It was actually on course 7,500 miles into the 250,000 miles of the trip back and forth, and it still made it. Why? Because those astronauts were in constant course correction mode. They were always getting back on course, and that's what successful people do. We veer off, we get back on course. All my parties canceled this month. And then I got this thing on my head and I couldn't wear makeup for several days and I still have a Band-Aid on my head. Course correction. I'm going to have to step back and punt and do it again next month. It's, life happens, but you keep going. You don't veer off course and take a time out. You just course correct. And so the formula for success is to double your rate of failure. All right, going for something big, going for it, putting yourself out there. That literally is the secret for success. Double your rate of failure. Oh my gosh, I've missed the Cadillac so many times in the last 2 years. I just want to throw up. I can't even talk about it. But guess what? We're doing another course correction. It doesn't look like we're going to make it tonight. It is what it is. When my party started canceling, I didn't say, oh, I'm never going to do it again. Course correction. October, November, December. Here we go again. We will get there. When? I don't know, but we're going to get there. We're going to keep course correcting until we get there. That's the secret of success. Double your rate of failure. You're thinking of failure as a bad thing when actually it's not. It's a good thing. You either get discouraged by failure or you learn from it. You want to make mistakes. That's where you find success. You learn so much. It's the storm, the valleys, the things that you go through in life. The wisest people are, if you've ever talked to a wise older person and she tells you her life story, you're like, oh my gosh, how did you do all that? But yet she's wise. She's happy. She's content. She's battled the storm and she came out victorious. I mean, that's, she's interesting. I mean, how many people have you ever talked to that nothing bad ever happens to them? They take antidepressants. They're just like this, no offense, but you have no highs, you have no lows, and you're not interesting. Life hasn't happened to you because you didn't even know what was happening. And so, just dig in and just suck it up and make some mistakes and fall down and get back up. That's what made Mary Kay so amazing, so amazingly awesome and fantastic, was that she fell down and she got back up and she took risk. Boy, did she ever, ever take risk. I mean, the woman couldn't even drive a car when her husband left her with 3 children, and she started selling children's books door to door. Look how far she's come. I mean, just trusting God that He was going to lead her, and she just followed His steps and trusted in Him, and she put her blinders on and she didn't listen to anything and the negativity of anybody else. Now, so we're going to talk about that too in just a second. So, slight adjustments in everyday decisions over time equal success. I'm going to say that again. Slight adjustments over time in everyday decisions will equal your success. Write that down. You know, knowing where you want to go and having the discipline to make the slight adjustments to get there. So what are some slight adjustments? Oh, you know, it's different for everybody. You know, we talked a lot on one of our calls about everybody thinks they're having time management issues, but really it's fear. You're not having trouble managing your time. You got too much time. You know, look at Marianne when she went through DIQ, a new baby, finishing up all her IEP reports at school at the end of the year, in DIQ, nursing a baby. She didn't complain about time management. She just got it done. There was no fear involved. And so you're getting confused, time management with fear. Just face it and go for it. And, you know, somehow you find the time, believe me. You know, getting from point A to point B, you'll be off track most of the time, but you know it's the little corrections and the slight adjustments that will get you there. That's the power of your life. You make those choices moment to moment over the course of your life, moment to moment. It becomes automatic, like when I go to watch TV or book or do some things that I need to do versus, you know, watch TV. My kids like to watch all these different shows now, as you know, my little ones. And so I like to be there with them. And so these are some of my new battles in the seasons of my life. And so I have to make those course corrections and I have to put the time in with them. And so I have to find different times that I've got a book now. And it you know, it's life. But at first it requires your constant awareness. The course corrections, like I just said, I have to really focus. Oh, I got to do this. Let me do this, then we'll do this. But over time, you become aware of it, just like I become aware of it, and it's automatic. Automatic is a good word. What you think about multiplies by action plus time will create what you get, good or bad. I'll say that again. What you think about multiplied by action and time will create what you get, good or bad. Okay? You, through the power of your own thoughts, are the most influential person in your life. All right, so now we're going to get into this head game here. So you, through the power of your own thoughts, are the most influential person in your own life. All right, so here we go, which means there's nobody more effective at undermining your success and nobody more effective at supporting your success. And so that's why you've got to work on this head game that's going on up here. So the purpose in investing in yourself is not accumulating skills for the specific knowledge. It's how, I'm going to put my notes right here. It's how you think and what you think about. All right. So here goes. And I'm going to try to talk slowly because this is huge. And I've always known this, but I found some really really deep ways to help understand it that I think will be like, aha. The brain is the most complex and powerful information processing device known. It's the most powerful. In fact, it's so amazing. Like if you ever got into holistic therapy and stuff, it will totally blow your mind. Made up of 100 trillion neutrons, captivating a performance 10 quadrillion unique operations per second. So in a nutshell, it is recording everything you do in seconds of your whole entire life. It's recording it, okay? So think about that. So every second of every day, your brain is keeping tracks of billions of different metabolic activities going on throughout your body. And it's been doing that your whole life. But what you may not know is where the real power is. Okay, so here we go. You have two two types of functions. You have the conscious brain and the unconscious brain. And so your conscious brain is the part that does what we think of as the thinking, okay? It focuses on one thing at a time, like a flashlight, okay? One flashlight shining one beam. You get that. The conscious mind is incredibly powerful at what it does, okay? But its score is very limited, or its scope is very limited. So like for a conscious brain, your conscious brain can only memorize a few numbers. Like if Marion called out her phone number right now to me, I might only remember three numbers, okay? It's limited. It's the flashlight. If the conscious brain is a flashlight, then the unconscious is a super duper floodlight, beaming everywhere, everything at all times, but only on a subconscious level. So the subconscious brain is easily, the conscious brain is easily distracted. The average person loses conscious focus 6 to 10 times per minute. So like some of you that are listening right now, you've already lost focus, okay? Already know that. So 6 to 10 times per minute. So your subconscious brain cannot stay focused. It's very easily distracted. But your unconscious never loses focus. So who's really running the show? Here we go. So Sharon Black is a national sales director who just moved in our area, and she told us a story last directors meeting that oh my gosh, Brooke, I just saw your chat. See, I just lost focus. Thank you. I curled it. Anyway, I just lost focus. So Sharon Black, national sales director, just moved in our area, and she told us a story of another national sales director who had been doing her positive affirmations for years. Of course, that's what we teach. She's a national. That's how she got there, right? Well, she had a stroke, and she lost her ability to speak. Okay, she had to learn how to speak again. Do you know that her daughter, the only way that her daughter could help her get her words out was somehow her conscious mind was able to speak her affirmations, but not her conscious. Subconscious was able to retrieve her affirmations from all those years, and then her subconscious was still, her conscious mind was still having trouble speaking. Is that not amazing? Another story I've told over the years was a Vietnam vet who was in prison for 7 years and in a 7x7 jail cell, or maybe it was 11x11. And to pass the time every day for 7 years, he played a round of golf in his mind on all the golf courses that he had ever been on. He passed the time playing golf for 7 years in his mind. When he finally got out of prison and got back to the States and was able to play golf, he had taken 20 strokes off his golf game. That's the power of the subconscious mind. Never picked up a club in 7 years and took because of the subconscious mind. All right, so the truth is the unconscious mind is running virtually everything. What does that mean? That means that all the negativity that we have been told our entire life is running the show. And you are now in a positive company that is going to rewrite your song. It's going to rewrite your song and change your direction so that you move up to the 5% who live in an uncomfortable state, who take risk, who go for it, who make a difference, who do not live a life of regret, versus the 95 who sit back and just wait for things to happen. All right. So even driving somewhere, this is going back to the subconscious mind and what happens and how does it know to go from conscious to subconscious. So when you're driving somewhere, you can't remember how you got one place to the next. You guys ever been like that? You're thinking and all of a sudden you're like, how did I get home? So what happens is your conscious mind learned the route so well and hands it over. So your subconscious mind learns the route so well, it hands it over to the subconscious, so the conscious and the subconscious, and it takes over. So the conscious mind learns the route, hands it over to the subconscious, and the subconscious gets you home. So I mean, it's crazy to even think, but that's exactly how it works. The importance of muscle memory and positive affirmations right there playing out. And we've all done that. We've all been like, how did I get home? So changing how you think, your positive outlook, your great attitude, affirmations will help you keep going during disappointing situations, because we always know that we're going to have cancellations, we're going to have disappointments. But the subconscious mind is now in a positive state with positive affirmations and positive outlook. The subconscious mind takes over and it talks you off the ledge, okay? Because your conscious mind, it's already handed it over to you. And if your subconscious mind is in a negative state and then you get disappointed, you're like, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? That is your subconscious, the power of your subconscious mind. So that's why it's so important that you feed yourself with the right things to overpower and write a new song that's playing in the subconscious mind. So we do everything, 99.9% of everything is autopilot. Isn't that scary? 99.9% of everything we do is autopilot. So that's how most people end up looking at their lives when they're 30, 50, 70, going, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Well, you got here because you're on autopilot. You got here on autopilot. So you better make sure that your autopilot is a positive pilot or else it won't talk you off the ledge. So what determines where you end up? Well, it's a question of what route you have programmed into your subconscious mind. So start activity. Start your business, stop your business, come back later, 3 months, whatever. That's a route. You're on that route. That's a bad route. Habits of quitting. Quitting is a habit, and so is persisting. So develop the habit of persisting. Those are good routes to take to give that subconscious mind, like, quitting is not an option. I will see the finish line. Those can also be your positive affirmations. I am a national sales director. I will debut on Seminar Stage 2020 with my 20 offspring sales directors. I will represent my unit in the $500,000 Circle of Excellence this year. I will be driving my pink Cadillac. Why? Because I'm Michelle Byers, future national sales director. Daughter of the King. I am loved. I'm forgiven. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Those are my affirmations that I say 10 times a day. 10 times a day. There are times when I couldn't say them. You know what? And then you have to dig yourself out of that pit. You have to listen to motivational speeches, motivational messages, not necessarily training, but motivation. Sean Key said, when it comes to training or motivate, you motivate every time. Because your subconscious mind knows your skincare class. Your subconscious mind knows how to book. Your subconscious mind knows how to sell this product. But is your subconscious mind playing a negative record in your head? That's what you have to worry about. Motivation is the key, all right, to getting where you need to be. Unfortunately, we sometimes let others program our mind. Schools, parents, teachers, friends, TV, you get it. It's a negative state. You can choose to program it yourself. And how do you program that route? Well, I just talked to you about that. You determine the choices and the decisions that you make on a subconscious level. So the things that you carry out daily, like telling yourself, oh, I really don't need to go for that walk, or I really don't need to make those booking calls today. That is a decision. Greatness happens in the moment, okay? Greatness happens in the moment. Your success isn't overnight, and your collapse didn't happen overnight either. Same way you learn to tie your shoe, right? How did you learn to tie your shoe? You practice, you practice, you practice. It takes 21 days to form a habit, good or bad. That's how you program the subconscious mind. You create it first with intention, with your subconscious mind, and then repeat it over and over and over. And then your conscious mind hands it off to the subconscious. And then the 3 magic words, it becomes automatic. It becomes automatic. 3 magic words, because you repeat it over and over and over. Your affirmations, your presentation. That's why I don't even have to, I'm like, when I start doing a skincare class and I get off, I'm like, oh my gosh, my subconscious mind kicked in. I don't even know what I just said. Or I'm teaching something and somebody wants my notes, and I said, my notes didn't say all that. You know, it was the subconscious mind, but which I believe also can be controlled by the Holy Spirit. And God puts those words in my mind when I'm my mouth and in my spirit when I'm teaching. And so a lot of things play a factor here, but we control the route. You're controlling what goes in, what's being programmed in, and repeat so that the conscious mind can hand it over to the subconscious. So it becomes automatic. Daily disciplines, moment by moment. Fighting to get the things done that you need to get done. Need to do until it becomes automatic, okay? That's the secret of winning the head game, getting your head in the game. Now, I want to turn it over to Marianne because I'm sure she's taken some notes and she's had some aha moments too. Marianne, you want to share? See if Trinity's on too.
She is. Okay. Super fast. One aha moment for me was the perspective of, you know, we decide at the beginning of the month what our paycheck is, what we need or want, or both. And then we go to work to that. Whereas employees, they have it backwards. They go to work, and then at the end of the month, especially if like you're on a part-time or, you know, it's not a salary, you go to work, and then at the end of the month, you find out what the paycheck is. And when you put those two together, the latter sounds really scary. Like, because before it's, you know, when you decide, okay, here's my paycheck, this is the work I need to do for it, I'm going to go do that work, and then you have that control. Whereas if you go to work first and then wait for that afterwards, you don't have that control. So that was a really scary thought, you know, when you work for somebody else.
Yes. Guaranteed paycheck, guaranteed not to go up too. Trinity, I know you're driving, I can see. Do you want to share anything?
Yeah, so I hope you guys can hear me. I'm in a bad area of service, but I feel like the positivity thing is it's funny that we trained on this tonight because I've been talking with my unit about it this past week, and it's such an important thing because if you have that subconscious that is consistently positive, you cannot fail because you're going to find the silver lining in every single situation, and you're going to see the success. And so it's a mental game, like Michelle said, that you play with yourself, and you literally say, I will not fail, and you don't. Like, it's so cool. You know, I mean, I always talk about Marianne and her DIQ and my DIQ and how crazy it was and the things that we were doing and how we could have instantly at any moment said, you know what, I'm just going to do this later. I think a lot of you guys know about when I earned my first free car, my father-in-law passed away very suddenly last year. And it was just one of those things. I had every excuse to say, no, you know what, I'm just going to wait a little bit longer because it was in June. And everybody knows how important June is, and we were finishing up. And then I had been so positive with my customers, and I had told everyone my goal that at the funeral, oh my gosh, a customer came up and said, oh my gosh, so when are you getting your free car? And so that was just kind of such a really big aha moment for me because I breathed the belief into them that I knew I was going to earn a free car June 30th. And so if you have that confidence in yourself and you speak it out loud, you can't just keep it inside. You have to speak it out loud. The positivity, the confidence, it is so essential. Those affirmations, you guys, they are incredible what they can do. And so that positivity really is a game changer. It really can change, between yes and no, whether you're going to achieve it or not. So that's a little tidbit. I definitely appreciate this training. I got a lot of things too. So
yay. Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. You guys are so awesome. Anybody else? All right. So guys, we're going to draw Marianne. How many numbers? Hudson's here to do the drawing. Hudson?
9.
He has clothes on today. 9. Number 9. How many out of 9, Hudson? Give me a number, 1 through 9.
7.
Number 7.
Shelly!
Yay!
Whee!
All right, is that Trinity's?
That's
Shelly?
mine.
That's your
I'm
Shelly?
Shelly.
Yay, Marianne, your gals win every week. All right, guys, this is recorded. It will be ready by tomorrow. Thank you for calling in. And I want to hear your affirmations. Private box me tomorrow, your affirmations. Write those bad boys out, okay? Have a good night. Good night. Yes, uh-huh.